Challenge Roth has long been a bucket list race for athletes all around the globe, whether that be the amateur or professional fields alike. Now, the history of this race, coupled with the chance to get a very fast time, alongside the unrivaled on-course race atmosphere, is what draws athletes back to this race year upon year. Now, add in the sizable prize purse plus the incredible hospitality from the organisers, and you have all the ingredients to bring a world-class professional field to your race. And this year is no other, that's for sure. So today I'm going to run through a list of the big hitters that are on that start list for this race, talk to you about who I think is going to feature in this race, and once the racing is all done and dusted, who might be the winners. Now I'll get started with the women's race, and the start list this year is fairly small actually, due in most part to some notable withdrawals of key athletes who more than likely would have featured highly in this race, and possibly even for the win, such as home favourite Laura Philipp from Germany, who certainly had her eyes on doing really well at this race as her big summer goal. And also 5th place finisher from last year, Laura Sedal from the UK, who also had to pull out, and both of those were unfortunately due to stress fracture injuries or broken bones. Now that, in my eyes at least, leaves this race down to a 2-horse race, and that's between Lucy Charles from the UK and Sarah Crowley from Australia. Now these two athletes last had a notable head-to-head in Frankfurt at the 2017 European Ironman Championships. Now on that occasion, Lucy was using her very usual front-running tactics, leading at the swim, all the way through the bike and into the marathon. But it's at that point that Sarah overhauled her about midway through the marathon to go on to take the win on that occasion. Now, I have a feeling that Lucy won't be allowing Sarah to get in on the act nearly as easily on this occasion, and I say that because at this race, Roth 2018 last year, Lucy was doing exactly that, leading the race deep into the marathon, and then she was overhauled on that occasion by Germany's Daniela Bleimel, who then went on to win the race by an agonising, for Lucy's point of view at least, 8-second victory. So as I say, I do not think that Lucy will be letting Sarah in on the act nearly as easily this year, so that will be her tactics. Now I really do feel that this is going to be a 2-horse race here in Roth this weekend, and I'm going to nail my colours to that mast. But as for third, and the battle for that, which is basically the best of the rest in this reduced field, if I can call it that, is going to be going to Lisa Roberts from the US. Now, noted for her incredible run speed, and she very often posts run splits close to or even under the 3-hour barrier. So if she's able to replicate even anything similar to that sort of run speed on this very fast run course here in Roth, let's not forget, then I really feel that there's not going to be many others who won't be passed by her, save from those two front headliners, in my opinion. So let's move on to the men's race, and as a little bit of a recap, I'm going to take a step back to the 2018 race, because the first 6 men who raced here last year all broke the 8-hour barrier, which just goes to show how fast this course can be. Indeed, the winning time last year was 7 hours 46 and 23 seconds. However, the winner who set that time, Sebastian Kienle, he's not racing this year, meaning we're going to have a new men's champion in Roth. And second place from last year, German athlete Andy Dreitz, he will be returning here to Roth, and I am sure that he is desperate to climb one step further up that podium. And another athlete who's returning this year, who had a great race last year, is Australia's Cameron Worth. He came 5th place en route to going sub 8 hours for the first time in his career. But there are only 2 athletes out of, in my opinion, 6 or 7 who could possibly take the victory here in Roth. And that's even considering there was 2 red hot favourites, I would have said, in Cody Beals and Ben Hoffman, who have had to withdraw recently, unfortunately due to injuries. So I'm going to get stuck into having a look at how those 6 or 7 athletes might do and give you my predictions. So let's start off with what I'd call the uber bikers in this field. We've got Andy Bocherer from Germany alongside Cameron Worth. Now, Andy Bocherer has got a slightly stronger swim on paper than Cameron, so there's a very good chance that when he gets to T1, he's going to have a bit of daylight, or quite a lot of daylight perhaps, to really work with as he gets out onto the bike course. But I do see these two as being a real sort of head-to-head battle out on that bike course that could really progress as we get towards T2, and I really think that's going to be an interesting strand to this race. Cameron is coming off a race in Ironman France in Nice just a week before, which he, by his standards, didn't do as well in, but I've got a funny feeling that was all in prep towards this weekend in Roth. He's already won Ironman Australia this year and is, of course, the Ironman bike course record holder in Hawaii. So these guys, I think they are going to be motoring. Now, another very strong bike rider that it would be remiss of me not to discuss when talking about the fast cyclist is Bart Aernouts from Belgium. Now, he was the 2017 champion here in Roth, let's not forget, so he absolutely knows how to get it done on this course. But by his own admission, Bart is not the strongest of swimmers, so he has to play to his strengths over the bike and the run and work his way through a race. So I definitely think that's what we're going to see happening from Bart, and who knows, maybe he'll be back on that top step yet again. So moving on to another big hitter that's on this start list, and that is New Zealand's Braden Currie. Now, he is hot off having won the 2019 Asia Pacific Championships in Cairns, Australia. Plus, he was 5th at Ironman Hawaii last year, so he has got the results behind him to go for the win here in Roth. He's got an excellent repertoire across the board of swim, bike and run, so if he has the day that he is capable of, there's no doubt in my mind that he could certainly, if not be challenging for the podium, be going for that elusive win here in Roth. Now, another athlete who is really keen and got his eyes on doing well here in Roth, actually a rookie athlete here in Roth, and that's my good friend David McNamee from Scotland. Now, David has been third twice the last 2 years at Ironman Hawaii. Quite incredible results that he has, and he builds on those with his fantastic foot speed on the marathon. So if David brings that sort of run speed to here on this fast run course in Roth, who knows? Hopefully, by my standards at least, he will be sneaking his way up into the upper echelons of this race. So another pair of athletes I'm going to chat about now that I've picked out of this start list as potentials for doing very well here in Roth are both Americans and both rookies to here at the race in Roth. Now, first up, Andy Potts. He has been around the world racing, but as far as I'm aware, hasn't spent very much time racing here in Europe. So it'll be interesting to see how he copes with the different dynamics that you get in these types of races. But Andy has an excellent swim. He's always hung his hat on that. So he'll be out of the water amongst the lead group without doubt. He'll then ride very well, and he has, if he's on his best form, an excellent run tucked into his back pocket. So I don't doubt that we will see Andy in the mix during this race. Now, the second athlete that's coming in from the States is Matt Russell. Now, he's been racing far sooner, in fact just last weekend at Ironman European Championships in Frankfurt. So he's just going to drive down the motorway and start again by the sounds of it for his debut race here in Roth. And he isn't the best of swimmers, so he always has to work his way through a race, often solo quite far back, and picks his way past athletes into the marathon. So we could see Matt working his way up into the top 5 and possibly further if he has recovered himself from Ironman Frankfurt last weekend. So we've talked about the women's race and the men's, so I think I should be brave and try and predict a podium. I'm a little bit more confident about the women's race, so I'm going to go with Lucy Charles for the win, Sarah Crowley for second, and Lisa Roberts in third. The men's race, a little bit more tricky, but my picks are going to be Andy Bocherer and Cameron Worth coming into T2 together, much like happened last year when Cameron caught Sebby Keenley. And as happened last year, I'm going to say that Andy Bocherer will pull away and lead on the marathon to go for that victory. Cam, I think, might fade a little, and I'm hoping my good friend David McNamee will come through, take that second place, not managing to catch Andy, with Cameron holding on for third. But who knows? Please let me know what you think in the comments section below. One thing for sure is there's going to be some tantalising racing this weekend with the prospect of some epic head-to-head duels both on the men's and women's side of the fence. But of course there's plenty of other athletes who could get in amongst it and upset the apple cart to take the victory here in Roth. One thing's for certain though, I know how exciting this course is to race on, and I'm delighted to be here to watch the racing unfold on race day. Hope you've enjoyed this video, so please hit that thumb up like button, find the globe on screen to get all our other videos here at GTN, and if you want to see a video about everything in Race Week explained, well, you can find that here, and if you want to know about our Roth preview of the course, well, you can get that here.